Greetings, mechanical keyboard nerds. It's time to unbox and review and sound test the Mistel MD600 Alpha, a brand new split Alice layout. Holy, it splits, it spins. That's actually really incredible. I'm looking forward to seeing this keyboard. Disclaimer before we begin, they did send it to me for free. They're not paying me money. All opinions are my own, but Mistel sent me this keyboard and I'm stoked to try it out and spin it. So let's coffee and keyboard right here. First, the unboxing. They sent me a bag. It didn't come in the bag. They just sent me a bag. Is it a trash bag? I don't know. Is it a shopping bag? I don't know. I don't know why I really even bothered to tell you about that, but alas. So I will share some of the details of the MD600 as I open it. There's actually a few different MD600s from Mistel, I believe. There's one that I've seen around for a long time. It is also a split keyboard, but it's not a split Alice keyboard. And really quick, I'm not a pro on split keyboards at all. First of all, I'm gonna say wrong stuff in this video, probably. But as I understand it, the split Alice layout basically just means if it were one piece, or the Alice layout rather, if it were one piece, it's already more ergonomic. You can see this is like one keyboard split down the middle, not like this yet, but even the keys are split and they're sort of tilted just enough to be slightly more ergonomic. Keychron released some Alice keyboards in 2022. This one is a split Alice, meaning not only is it split like this, which, by the way, you can also screw this in, I believe, to keep it like this if you wanted, but you can also just pair it like this, and it has a little cable that will run between them. So, unboxing first. Let's finish here. Manual, obviously, which I will not look at. Under here, I'm guessing, yep, and we got some fancy stuff here. Just dump everything out. That's cool. A coiled USB-C cable. Pretty standard stuff here. Keycap puller and switch puller there. It is a hot swappable keyboard after all. Ooh, that's very, very muted. This is some magnetic feet. I can already tell I'm not gonna like this. I'm not gonna lie. So the point here is to be able to adjust the angle, but instead of feet that flip out on a lot of mechanical keyboards, these have magnetic feet, lots of them because there are lots of parts here, that you can put on just the backs. They also have it on the fronts too, I guess in case you wanted to rise the whole thing up. That might be weird, I don't know. But you can put the feet on the back just to tilt the angle up a bit like that. So that's what that is, magnetic feet. Hopefully the magnet is strong. We'll test that out in a second. That's it for the box. Before we dive in to the sound test, a few more keyboard details. Like zoom you in as much as possible right here. Switch options. I thought they were gonna have Gateron Pro switches. It's not really on the market yet, so maybe that's why, but they sent me Cherry MX pinks, which aren't actually pinks, they're actually like silent reds, but they look pink. They have a pink coloring here. And sure enough, it's very silent, which, by the way, just first touch, it feels good. It feels really good so far. Now, cabled, wired mode, and Bluetooth, of course. I actually unboxed the cable so I could get this part right here, which connects to two halves. And I believe, I'm gonna test this in a second, that you can actually plug in the keyboard from either side. You can see there's two USB ports on either side that you can connect it and charge it to your computer or use it in wired mode. There's also 4 modifier keys here on the left side of the keyboard. There's your standard 3, and then there is a function one right here. There are 2 function keys on the keyboard on the right and the left. You can program different layers. I think there's 3 layers of macros that you can do here. It's not QMK and VIA. I'm actually not even sure what software you would use to do that. You might be able to do it on the keyboard hardware. I'm actually not sure. I'll have to look into that. But transparent, shine through, double shot PBT keycaps. I think that's where Alpha comes from. Yeah, there's a little PBT feel, like it's a little bit more matte, if you will. They look great. They feel fine so far. I think that's all I got. Oh, on-off switch over here on the side, as well as a Bluetooth pairing button. Where's my finger? Right there. And I think that's all I got. So let's plug this in for a quick sound test, and then I'll record the end of this video like a week from now to see what it sounds like, what it feels like after some use. Greetings from the future, where I've been typing on the MD600 for several days. I put in some Kailh Box Whites just to have something different than these silent linears that were in here, and I'm glad I did, just so I could, see and feel the keyboard. So rather than like drone on for 10 minutes, I actually just took some really brief notes, and I figured I'd just read it to you. Save us both some time. So I'll go over the build, the sound, the feel, and then the value, and then my pros and cons. This will be super short. Build. Solid, but not heavy. Not very premium. Not cheap, but not very premium. It's built well. Sound. It's good. Above average, I would say. There is a tiny bit of ping, even with both switches that I put in there. There's a little bit of scratchiness. There's a tiny bit. The PBT keycaps are good. It actually sounds and feels like the big gaming brand keyboards, like Steel Series or Razer or stuff like that. I've noticed it actually feels like a lot of those keyboards. It's not terrible. It's not super premium. That's right in the middle ground. But overall, I would say above average. It feels good. It doesn't feel cheap like a super budget keyboard at all. Feel layout-wise, by the way, don't buy this keyboard if you don't want the split Alice layout. Like, why would you do that? It's a split keyboard. You have to get used to it. It's a little bit different than your average non-split keyboard. So there you go. You know what you're getting into when you buy this keyboard. Okay, value. How much does it cost? And then is it worth it for what you get? I would actually say yes, I would. And part of the reason is split keyboards in general are expensive. I guess there's 2 PCBs, there's 2 cases and more components, and it's more expensive to make. I guess. I don't know for sure. But I think this is going to be just under $200, maybe like $180. And I actually feel like that's a pretty good price. But this is my first pro. Let's jump into the pros and cons, and then I'll let you guys go. Pro, hot swappable, wireless, Bluetooth, and split keyboard. So this is why it's worth the money, really. Hot swappable, Bluetooth, and it's a split Alice layout. It's hard to find that for like $180, $200. I've looked. I did research, tried to find keyboards that were similar to this, and they're surprisingly expensive. It's kind of weird. I guess it's just more parts here. But that's my first big pro. There you go. My second big pro is actually the way they do the function keys. So it's a 60% keyboard. There's a function key on the left for your pinky, and there's a function key on the right. There's also a punction key. Actually, I don't know if that's what it stands for. It just says PN, FN and PN. And the PN actually accesses a bunch of like the backlighting and stuff, different features. Anyways, I like that you can hit the function key with your left pinky, and you don't have to move your right hand to access the basic function layer. Specifically, arrow keys and the delete key. And there's also like end and page up and home right here, where you don't have to move your hand. This is so much better than when you have to come over here. You have to shift your hand, hold down the function key here, and then do like your arrow keys down here somewhere. It's a little clunky. I really like the way they presented that with this keyboard. Function on the left, that's, sometimes standard. And then you don't have to move your hand. Right there. Everything's like right here. That's handy. I like that they have it that way out of the box. Which leads me to my cons. There's really 2. Number 1, that delete key. I was frantically searching, hitting like function, backspace. Why is this not like deleting? Well, it's because it's right here. Yeah, I just said it's a nice thing that your right hand doesn't have to move and you can access this delete key like over here, but it takes getting used to. And I personally just wish I had the standalone delete key. I would pay more money if this were a 65% keyboard that had the standalone delete key somewhere over here. I don't even need the other ones, like home, page up, page down, or end, or whatever. I just want that delete key, really. Again, I guess you could get used to it fairly easily. There's your delete right there, holding down the function key, but I didn't like it. Last thing that I want to say, it's kind of a con, but it's really not. It doesn't feel premium. It doesn't feel cheap. It just doesn't feel premium. I wish it were heavier. I get the shine through PBT keycaps, and they're fine. They're nice. It's not really my style. I wish it were just a little heavier and more premium feeling. The case is solid, but it's not like, oh wow, this is super premium. The entire experience, really. I like that it's Bluetooth and minimal. I don't need the cord to plug into the thing, but I just wish it felt 10% more premium. Not cheap, not premium. Right there in the middle ground. There's my gripe. But again, I want to reiterate this. I still think it's well worth the cost. I feel like if this was a $350 keyboard, I would say no. It's absolutely not worth it. But at $150 to $200, like somewhere in that range, I actually think that's a great value. If you want the split Alice layout, I think this is a really cool, great option. I really do, for that kind of money. That's it, my fam. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Let me know in the comments if there's any of the keyboards you think I should review, check out, or if you yourself are into the split keyboards. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this one. And that's all I got. I hope you have a lovely day from wherever you're typing from. Adios.